From biscuits to cobbler to country fried shrimp, Cracker Barrel's been serving up Southern comfort food for decades. But you might be surprised to learn that some of the chain's most famous dishes have actually been around for centuries. A Southern menu usually isn't complete without fried chicken, and Cracker Barrel's fried chicken comes with honey, a pair of Southern sides, and biscuits or corn muffins. While it's the dish most people connect with Southern American food, fried chicken actually came to the country through Scottish immigrants. Mary Randolph was the first to publish an American fried chicken recipe, which appeared in her 1824 cookbook and housekeeping manual, The Virginia Housewife. While it was simple, only seasoned with salt, it was primarily made for special occasions, like the 4th of July, or to feed a visiting preacher. While Cracker Barrel Southern fried chicken may seem to scratch your itch for this juicy fried dish, it can sometimes be under-seasoned. And even though it's on Cracker Barrel's list of most popular menu items, there are other restaurants with arguably better fried chicken. Homemade chicken and dumplings usually aren't on the menu unless you have a Southern grandma, which is probably why they're so popular at Cracker Barrel. The chain lists its chicken and dumplings as its second most popular meal and is ordered over 11 million times yearly. This slow-simmered dish comes with 2 to 3 sides and a biscuit or corn muffin. A version of dumplings called canoodle first arrived in North America with German immigrants, and the Virginia Housewife was the first cookbook to feature suet dumplings. But the 1879 cookbook Housekeeping in Old Virginia added these dumplings to stewed chicken and made them with rolled biscuit dough, which is how Cracker Barrel makes them today. This connection to the past was noted by a customer on Reddit who claimed, "Cracker Barrel chicken and dumplings taste like nostalgia and comfort." And fans can create the same level of comfort and nostalgia at home with the boxed homemade biscuit and dumpling mix from the restaurant store. If a salty and smoky Southern dish is what customers are looking for, Cracker Barrel has its hickory smoked country ham. You can get it by the slice, as a meat option in some breakfasts, or as a meal with 2 to 3 sides and biscuits or corn muffins. Cured ham has a long history in the US, in part because it was historically known to keep pork edible before the invention of refrigeration. Hams first entered North America when Hernando de Soto brought pigs to Florida and herded them up to Georgia in 1539. Native Americans taught the early settlers how to use smoke and salt to cure country hams, and they've continued to be popular in the United States.
Ah! My ham.
You can sometimes find a whole country ham in the restaurant store for about $100 around the holidays. It may be quite salty, but it's still a consistent hit with customers. If your idea of Southern food includes something deep-fried and covered in gravy, Cracker Barrel's iconic country fried steak might be what you want. The dish is made with USDA choice steak, topped with sawmill gravy, and, just like each and every other meal on this list, comes with 2 to 3 sides and a choice between biscuits and corn muffins. The city of La Mesa, Texas, claims to have created the first breaded and fried steak in the 1800s, known as the chicken fried steak. But some people make country fried steaks and chicken fried steaks differently. Usually, country fried steak has only a dusting of flour and uses brown gravy, while chicken fried steak comes battered and covered in peppered white gravy. Since Cracker Barrel's country fried steak is battered and covered in peppered white gravy, the chain demonstrates the interchangeability of the two names. But it seems Cracker Barrel hasn't made every customer happy with its version, with one Redditor claiming, "Yeah, as a Cracker Barrel worker, country fried steak is one of the last things I'd suggest to anyone." Customers have also spoken poorly about the quality of the gravy, or that the whole meal is overcooked. But even still, it doesn't stop it from being the 5th most ordered dish at the restaurant chain. Cracker Barrel's chicken fried chicken is a good alternative for white gravy lovers and those who don't like eating around the bones of traditional fried chicken. Since no one has ever claimed it as their invention, it's uncertain where chicken fried chicken originated. It at least dates back to the 1970s around Abilene, Texas, and is often seen in Southern and home cooking restaurants that don't have bone-in chicken on the menu. While chicken fried chicken is just ahead of Southern fried chicken in popularity at Cracker Barrel, not a lot of customers seem to talk about it, but the ones that do say that it's tender and tasty, with some ordering it every time they visit. Since nearly every type of meat dish found in the South has a fried version, it's no wonder there's one for pork. And like many other iconic Southern dishes from Cracker Barrel, their country fried pork chops are topped with pan gravy.
Is there anything on this menu that is not swimming in gravy?
The dish is reminiscent of German pork schnitzel, except in the South, it's often served with the bone still in. But Cracker Barrel seems to be the exception, since its pork chops are boneless, just like the country fried steak and chicken fried chicken. While reviews are mixed for the country fried pork chops, most complaints are directed at them being dry, so the best time to order them is probably Saturday, when they're the daily special and are hopefully fresher. If you eat fish anywhere in the South, catfish is most likely on the menu, and Cracker Barrel has 2 types, grilled and cornmeal fried. The 2-piece U.S. farm-raised fried catfish comes with tartar sauce for dipping and deep-fried hush puppies. According to food historian Jessica B. Harris, the story of fried catfish began with enslaved people in the South. Harris told the York Dispatch, "They ate catfish because the gentry won't eat them. They were considered trash fish as they lived in ditches and had a muddy taste. Modern farmed catfish no longer have that muddy flavor and are famous for being mild and delicious. And Cracker Barrel seems to do a good job too. It's a standby dish for many customers. So if you're in a city where catfish isn't normally easy to find, satisfy your cravings at Cracker Barrel." Those looking for shrimp at Cracker Barrel will only find the fried type. Their country fried shrimp are buttermilk breaded like fried chicken and come with hush puppies. While already available around different parts of North America, shrimp became more popular after 1735, when fishermen started using beach seine nets in the bayous of Louisiana.
I only caught 5.
Couple of boys, you could have yourself a cocktail.
And while the recipe for fried shrimp likely originated in Portugal in the 1500s, the idea would eventually thrive in the American South. By the 1900s, the place most famous for fried seafood was Calabash, North Carolina. And while Cracker Barrel shrimp aren't made in the Calabash style, they're breaded and fried just the same. But even though fried shrimp is often a safe bet at Cracker Barrel, there have been some complaints about them being overcooked, especially if they're on the smaller side, so it can be a hit or miss. When thinking about Cracker Barrel side dishes, the first thing which might come to mind is the chain's most popular side, their creamy Hashbrown Casserole. The hash browns are baked into a Colby cheese-infused casserole seasoned with salt, pepper, and onions. While there's a variety of potato casseroles around the country, Hashbrown casseroles are one of the most popular in the South. No get-together is seemingly complete without them. While many Southern families have recipes for Hashbrown Casserole, the one at Cracker Barrel is something different. One customer on TripAdvisor claimed, "The Hashbrown Casserole is better than I can make homemade. Unfortunately, they may not be exactly as good as you remember, thanks to a change from frozen hash browns to mealy, rehydrated ones." Beans and greens is a unique dish because it can also be ordered separately as a bowl of pinto beans or a bowl of turnip greens. The duo comes with a slice of onion, vinegar for cutting bitterness, and chow chow relish. For many in the South, pinto beans were mainly eaten by the poor. In places like Appalachia, it was often cheaper to buy dried beans than to grow them in the unforgiving and rocky soil.
Plant things, nothing will grow but weeds.
While Europeans were accustomed to eating turnip roots, turnip greens entered into Southern cuisine as unwanted scraps eaten by enslaved people. Over the years, the use of turnip greens evolved into the famous soul food dish known throughout the South today. It isn't hard to believe that some who go to Cracker Barrel go just for the beans and greens, especially in locations where turnip greens aren't easy to find. It's not vegetarian. Both the turnips and beans contain ham, but it's an excellent low-meat choice. Fried okra is a summer pleasure in the South. While some Southern cooks make it ultra crisp and lightly coated with cornmeal, the breading on Cracker Barrel's fried okra is thicker. Okra, a plant native to East Africa, became prevalent in the southern United States between the 1500s and 1800s, after seeds were smuggled into the continent by enslaved people. Since the vegetable is so well suited to the climates of many southern states, it eventually made its way into a variety of southern dishes. So if you're looking for fried okra and you're not in the South, Cracker Barrel is a good place to find it. While not the most popular side at the restaurant, one reviewer described the dish as well-seasoned with a soft interior and exterior. The country vegetable plate isn't just for vegetarians. Customers can choose any 4 side dishes, and the plate comes with your choice of buttermilk biscuit or cornbread muffin. Southerners who have access to fresh garden produce reportedly have regular meals consisting entirely of vegetables. And veggie plates at Southern restaurants are known for being delicious and filling. Cracker Barrel may be missing fresh tomato slices, field peas, cabbage, butter beans, and stewed squash, but it still manages to hold its own. While not all of the chain side dishes can claim their origin in the American South, most, like mashed potatoes and gravy, green beans, macaroni and cheese, and whole kernel corn, certainly show up on Southern plates. As we've mentioned, meals at Cracker Barrel tend to come with a choice of buttermilk biscuits or corn muffins. While Southerners are certainly known for eating many variations of cornbread, it's more widespread throughout the U.S. than buttermilk biscuits. Learning to make buttermilk biscuits is seemingly a rite of passage for Southern cooks. The practice emerged in the region partly due to having softer wheat, ideal for biscuits. In contrast, the harder wheat available in the American North was more ideal for baking bread. According to Today, Cracker Barrel's made-from-scratch biscuits are so popular that the restaurant makes over 200 million of them annually. And while customers notice that they've shrunk in recent years, it won't stop them from making larger ones at home if they buy the boxed mix in the restaurant store. Cracker Barrel coarse ground grits come as a breakfast side and as part of some breakfast meals. Not surprising since it's a big part of Southern breakfast culture.
You never heard of grits?
Sure, I heard of grits. I just actually never seen a grit before.
Southerners in Alabama, Georgia, and Florida first learned of grits through cultural exchanges with the Muskogee Native American tribe. And while white corn-based hominy grits are fairly plain on their own, Southerners find many ways to infuse them with flavor. This includes adding eggs, shrimp, Cajun seasonings, or a mixture of garlic and cheese. But for those who've never tried grits, Cracker Barrel may not be the best choice for an informed opinion. Nearly 33% of customers surveyed by Mashed declared them to be Cracker Barrel's worst breakfast side item. And since the dish can't be substituted for something else in some breakfast combos, customers can often be stuck with them. While peach cobbler comes and goes from the Cracker Barrel dessert menu, customers will want to give it a try if they're looking for Southern desserts. If unavailable, the peach cobbler filling can be purchased in the restaurant store, with the cobbler recipe printed on the back of the can. Peach cobbler's claim to Southern fame is twofold. European settlers brought over Asian peaches in the 1600s, and the first cobbler appeared in a Kentucky cookbook in 1839. But it wasn't until after the Civil War that peaches started being grown on a larger scale in Georgia. In 1881, a peach cobbler recipe appeared in a San Francisco cookbook written by Abby Fisher, who had escaped slavery in the South. But Fisher's version differs from Cracker Barrel's cobbler by being enveloped in dough instead of just being topped with it. While most customers have only good things to say about this delicious dessert, getting some without any crust hiding beneath the ice cream can be a little disappointing.